What's up, guys? So, this is a video I've been looking forward to making for a while now, and I just want to recap 2025 and all the highs and lows of it, and kind of what it's like building something from scratch, and if just one person can see this and relate to it and get value from it, then it's worth it for sure. So, because there's a lot of things that, when you're building something from scratch, there's things that go on that people don't always see, and no one teaches you how to do this day by day. You can read all the books you want, you can listen to all the podcasts you want, but until you're doing it on a daily basis, people don't know, right? And every day is a learning experience, and everyone has every idea and tells you, how you should be doing things, but it's like unless you're doing it, you don't know what it's actually like. So yeah, I think there's a lot of valuable lessons I can share that you guys will be able to appreciate. Um, because I tell you what, this year I have felt every emotion under the sun trying to build this from nothing, from scratch. And the highs of it are, I mean, it's unlike anything I've ever felt. It's just a feeling that's incredible. And when you're just like, oh my gosh, this is working, this is growing, right? And a day that really stands out for me was 4th of July this year. We had just gotten into the Bloomington Hy-Vee store, and I knew this was a big test for us because it was kind of outside our little region. And I knew if we could do well in that store, we could do well in any store. And so I set up that day, crushed it, sold out of 2 or 3 products. Everyone was loving the products. And I'm just like driving home and I'm just like, man, this is working. Like I'm doing this. And it was such like a pure feeling. And those moments, I'll never forget those moments. I'll always tell stories of like the early days of Ultra Health products, but um, yeah, it was just days like those are just amazing, And on the flip side of that, the lows in a way almost feel more real, because you just, it comes on heavy sometimes and you're just doubting yourself and you're like, man, like, am I biting off more than I can chew? Can I actually do this? It's like, what am I going to do if this doesn't work? Right. But I think it's important to know that anyone who's ever done anything in their life has felt that to some degree at some point, right? Like, no matter what you hear, nobody was 1,000% confident every second of every day when they're building something. Like, it's just not possible. But yeah, so the lows feel more real at times than the highs, but you just take everything in stride. And when I get in those moments, I just kind of take a step back and realize, like, holy crap, like, think about what you're doing. You're building something from scratch. You're in multiple Hy-Vee stores, anywhere we go in the area, it's like people follow and they're just loving the products. And we got a lot of cool things in the works that I'm excited about for 2026. And I was really hoping to roll out these things this year in 25, but good things take time, and it has been frustrating kind of dealing with how long everything has taken. But yeah, I feel like we're in a great spot going forward. The new product is gonna be a hit, and I feel like we've made it over kind of the initial hurdles, and I'm really excited about the future. So um yeah, I hope you guys can kind of get value from this. And I think it's important to be able to differentiate what you do on a daily basis in your career, your business, or whatever it is, from who you really are as a person. And what I mean by that is when you start to have a little bit of success, you start hearing the praise everywhere you go. Every single day, people are like, "Oh my gosh, Chris, you're crushing it. You're doing big things. Congratulations." And obviously, you appreciate it and it feels good. But if you're not careful, you start to actually become attached to the praise, right? And you feel you're almost addicted to it to a certain degree. And you're like, man. I've got to get it today, or you feel like your whole self-image um, goes down the drain, and you feel like to a certain degree you don't even know who you are anymore. And I feel like at a certain point this year, I completely lost myself, and I started listening to too many different people, and I would look at myself in the mirror and I would just say, like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm doing things for the approval of other people, and I think everyone gets caught up in that to some degree. But other people, we always think other people care so much about how we're living our lives. It's like other people are so worried about themselves that if they do care, it's literally just for a couple seconds, right? And then they go back to living their daily lives. And so I feel like at a certain point this year, I felt lost, and I'm like, who who am I doing this for? Why am I actually doing this? What do I actually want, right? And obviously, when you're building a business, it's like you're still a human being, and you go through things in your personal relationships that um, maybe you regret to a certain degree. And, when you keep your circles small, when you do let someone in, it's a big deal. And everyone everyone comes at you from a different direction, and you can't say yes to everyone. And you have to be very, very careful with that, because if you let everyone just take and take and take, all of a sudden you have nothing left for yourself and you just feel depleted and lost. And so you have to be really careful with who you let in, right? And you have to understand that your time and attention literally are your most valuable assets, and you can't get those things back. You can't ever get them back. So you just have to be really, really careful with who you let in, and, if something goes wrong at a certain point, sometimes you get a little too close to the flame and you get burned, but everybody goes through that, right? Like everybody to some degree goes through those situations, but you learn from them and you get through them. And at the end of them, you're stronger and you don't look back. And I feel like so many people, they dwell on situations like that and they let them control them. And it's just like, no, you learn from it and you move on and you don't look back. Um, and so, yeah, it's just trying to balance, being human with doing this on a daily basis. Right. And, let me see what else I got here. Yeah. It's like when I first started Ultra Health Products, it came from such a pure place of desire, and I just wanted something that was mine. That's all I wanted, And people were asking me, "How are you going to market? How are you going to advertise? How are you going to do all these things? How are you going to stand out?" And I told everyone, I was like, "Guys, I will figure that out," and I have, But I came from such a pure place, and now it's like I feel like I'm listening to so many different people that I've completely lost. Why am I even doing this? You know? And I'm glad that I kind of caught that now before you continue to go down that path, and then you feel like your ego gets just so wrapped up in this that it's like you don't even know who you are. And you feel like, I know this is kind of deep, but you feel like to a certain degree that if this were to fail, a part of you would also die, basically. Like if part of this dies, a part of you dies. And I know that's kind of deep, but if you've ever put your heart and soul into something, you know what I mean. And um, that can be really, really difficult to come to terms with. So I think you have to be 100% confident in yourself as a human being first. Apart from the business person that you are, apart from everything you're doing from a work perspective, you have to be confident in who you are, and you have to know, regardless of what happens, I have 100% confidence in myself. And I think That's the biggest lesson I've learned this year is that no matter what happens, I have confidence in myself that I'm going to be able to overcome any obstacle. And, when you continuously overcome those obstacles, and they come every single day, every day there is a new problem. And sometimes you're like, man, how am I going to overcome this? But when you do, that confidence that you get from that, it affects every area of your life truly. And it feels really, really good. So yeah, the biggest lesson of this year for me is that no matter what happens, um, I'm confident going forward, and that's not to say, we're in a great place going forward. I feel 100% confident. Um, but towards the end of this year, it's been difficult with how long the new product's taken. You just get frustrated. Um, but like I said, good things take time, and when everything does come together, it's gonna be really awesome. So let me see what else I got here. But yeah, it's like this year when things were really getting difficult, people close to me were asking like, man, do you want to quit? And I just thought about all the people that have believed in me and believed in this since day one, like literally even before day one. And I owe it to all of those people to keep going, and if you're only doing things for yourself at a certain point, that can get really exhausting. But if you keep other people in mind when you're doing something, that can kind of give you the strength to keep going. And that's what I felt this year. But let me see if I've got anything else. I think that's it. So yeah, I hope you guys were able to get value from this. I hope you can kind of relate. And because we're all human, we're all going through things, right? And sometimes it can be really tough, especially in today's world. But you just have to find the strength to overcome and keep going. And you got to remember that whenever you think you're going through something tough, there's somebody at a certain point in history that has gone through something and made it through 1,000 times worse. Think about the obstacles that people in history have had to overcome, right? And study great people and great leaders, and then you realize, holy cow, like it seems like what I'm going through is nothing. So I get inspiration, I get value from all different types of people. So but yeah, I hope you guys were able to get value from this. I'm gonna be making more videos like this. I'm not saying they're all gonna be this long. Um, in 2026, I'm gonna put more focus and more attention into making um content like this. So if you guys like it, let me know. And then also thanks for everyone that's gotten value from the podcast. It's so crazy. Like people come up to me and they're like, man, I was listening to your podcast. I loved it. And people are like sending me their favorite tidbits from different episodes. I'm like, man, this is so cool. I'm so glad I actually took the leap of faith and like launched this podcast because I love it. I don't have a ton of time to devote to it. As much as I would, but 2026, I will be putting more focus into it. And I'm really excited to keep growing and, we'll see what comes up from it. So, all right, that's all I got. I don't know if I count this as like an episode of the Chris Reid show, but nonetheless, we'll see you guys next time.